Well, hello out there. How's everybody doing? This is everybody's favorite conservative in New York, Christopher Wright, here to present you with none of my momentous relax back and chats. Remember, if you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So what today's topic is going to be about, before I begin, I just want to give you guys a quick heads up. If you guys watched my last interview I had with Bevelyn Beatty, sorry. You saw it midway through the interview. I had like a what they call aura, where I kind of looked like I zoned out for a second. The reason that happens is because I'm hypoglycemic. I take medication for it in the evening, but recently I forgot to take a couple of doses of it. And then the interview the next day, I had the aura midway through the interview. So what I've done is I just switched my medication back to the morning so I don't forget it. And also I've cut back very drastically on my alcohol intake, and I've gotten more of a plant-based diet, been working out every day, and just doing what I do because I can focus on the Lord's duties. And I know He has me out here to get a message out there, so I'm going to focus on building my temple, and we'll keep moving forward. Okay, so with that said, I want to get on to the topic at hand, which is a situation that happened with the George Floyd situation in Minneapolis. I don't know if you guys were able to see what happened, but what happened was this gentleman in Minneapolis was being arrested and had a white officer arresting him. He was handcuffed and he was like face first on the ground, and the officer had like his shin or his leg on the back of the guy's neck, to the point where the guy was telling him, "Hey, I can't breathe. Hey, my lungs hurt. I'm having issues." And then he went unconscious. And then later on, once he was taken into custody, he later on died from his injuries. So people want to see what my stance is on that. Even though, look, I'm a Black conservative, you guys heard me how I spoke on the Ahmaud Arbery situation and how I wasn't siding on his side, especially as more and more video footage came out. But in this particular situation, I think George Floyd was murdered. I think he was murdered. I think the officer that was nearby, the Asian gentleman who was looking away the entire time, participated in it, and the other officers as well. So I feel personally that, without, I want to see, of course, all the evidence at the end of the day. But from what I'm knowing and what I've seen so far, it's not much you can tell me that could justify what happened to the George Floyd. The guy was, even if he was a threat, even if he was an aggressor, even if he was, beforehand, who knows what happened beforehand? We're going to see the footage hopefully soon. But the guy was handcuffed and subdued at the time when he had his leg. The officer had his leg on the back of the guy's neck. So that's just wrong. That's, in my opinion, just murder. And but when I look at the entire situation, you look what's going on right now. You have the press, how they're handling the situation. And that's another issue that I'm having. The press has taken a story. Of course, they ran with it. They're making it this huge, big deal. And, trying to bring like a racial division within the country by just promoting, see, the white officers are always out to kill Black people and all that stuff. But there was a white officer here in New York on March 4th. I'm sorry, not white officer, but a white unarmed citizen who was killed by a Black officer in New York here on March 4th. And the local news reported on it, but that's it. It didn't go any further than that. You didn't hear about it in the mainstream media, the CNNs of the world, all that. You don't see anything. They didn't report on it because it doesn't fit their narrative of the evil white man's out to get you. So my issue is, if it comes to the media, if they were being genuine about this situation, I would honestly wouldn't mind them speaking on it. But they're only speaking on it because they know it's election season. It's time they get Blacks up in arms and rioting and doing crazy stuff and get their votes at the same time. So that's the only reason why they're touching this story, or else they want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. And also with the issue with the rioters in Minneapolis, my situation is this: it's like, what does it have to do with George Floyd's death? What does rioting, the Target stores there, and the stealing, robbing, looting, how's that benefit anybody involved with George Floyd, family members, friends? The calls, the George Floyd, the situation when it comes to maybe more police training or something like that might be needed. How is this going to benefit that? How's this going to bring that about? It's not. This is just violence. It's ignorance. I don't know I have no respect for it at all. And my issue with the Black community when it comes to the situation is, you guys put that same amount of energy into Black on Black crime, the country would be in a better place. And that's the main issue I'm having, is because, every time they have this story, it happens every 4 or 5 months, they pop up a story. Oh, white officer in some other, like 14 states away from where you at, killed a Black youth or whatever. And then before the rest of the story can even come out, there's riots going on, there's looting going on, there's all this crazy stuff going on without the whole story coming out. So my thing is, that energy is wasted energy. You should be putting that energy into every time there's a Black murder that happens. This Memorial Day weekend, this past Memorial Day weekend, there was a record number of Blacks in Chicago who were murdered. They were like Black and Black crime kind of situations. Didn't hear nothing about that in mainstream media because, it doesn't fit a narrative that they want you to follow. It's, and I'm telling, and if this was really, they were genuine, they would report that story and have blacks aware of what's going on there, so we can hopefully put that energy that we're putting over with George Floyd over into the black and black crime happening. So again, that's not happening because the media does not want to push that narrative. And I give President Trump also credit as well. President Trump, he's coming out and said when it comes to the George Floyd situation that he's going to get the FBI involved in this, and this is going to be like top tier case. So, I think he's doing everything as a president should do. I mean, he's been doing so much for the black community when it comes to unemployment, when it comes to the First Step Act and getting rid of the 3 strikes law, which was imprisoning more blacks in the history of American history. And that was just a wasteful, useless law, and he got rid of it. So Trump has already proven to me that he supports the black community. He's here for our benefit, and he'll fight for us. And I'm glad he came out and he said what he said when it came to George Floyd, and now he's getting the FBI involved. That's the main thing I want to say. Yeah, so that was why I want to speak on this. I want to give people a heads up because being a black conservative, a lot of times people assume that, situations like this happens, that you're just going to, side with the officer and, just, whatever, he must have been doing something wrong, or just, criticize a black individual who died in the situation. But that's not always the case. With me, it's not about black or white thing. It's right or wrong thing. And in this situation, the officer is wrong for how he handled the arrest of George Floyd. Once the guy was handcuffed and subdued, he could have handled it in a way where he didn't have to put pressure on the back of the guy's neck or nothing like that. He was no longer a threat. Once the guy's handcuffed, what's he going to do? I mean, he could have been, like I said, on drugs or acting foolish, acting crazy before we saw what we saw. But regardless, once he's handcuffed, you got to be a professional as an officer and make sure you're not putting unnecessary pressure on the criminal that could lead to his death or serious injury. And so I just want to come out here and give you guys my 2 cents on everything. Stay tuned. As you guys see, I'm doing a lot more interviews. I got a lot more guests coming on. We're speaking about a lot of different subjects, and that's what I want to do. Yep. And I see people coming out pretty much saying, yeah, justice for George Floyd and the president's in the right. And I agree with you guys. So, let's just continue to watch the story and see how it unfolds. Just like I said, people don't get upset. This is not, something to go out and hate white people for or something like that. It's, I'm the evil white man's out to get me kind of thing. It's nothing like that. This was just, bad police work. And it happened here on March 4th, like I said, with the white unarmed gentleman getting killed by a black officer. That was bad policing. So it is what it is, man. It's just, but if the media reported on each and every story properly and orderly, then people wouldn't be up in arms, and will be more easily for us to come together as different races and all as American citizens, but all different races in America can come together and get things accomplished. But the media does not genuinely care about U.S. citizens. They don't care about us and us coming together and working together. They want division because division can create control in their position. So I'm going to come out here and using my platform, as small as it is, to give you guys my truth and what I feel about the situation, and say, hey, let's just see. Hopefully this unfolds properly and these guys get charged for murder as they should, in my opinion. But we're going to see as the story unfolds. Thank you for tuning in. God bless everybody out there listening, and God bless the United States of America. Peace out. Oh, yep. Oh, real quick. The Mutant Lizard said they need better screening for hiring cops. I'm open for that debate. I'm totally open for that debate. That's something that I've mentioned in the past with policing, because I heard somebody just mentioned to me on my post on my Facebook Live that you can have an IQ that's too high to be a police officer. Like if your IQ is too high, they won't let you be a cop, which to me just makes no sense. I'm willing to look into, police training and see if there's any ways of improvements, but that requires the media to report properly. So then nobody could be up in arms and ready to fight over the race or whatever. We can all just say, hey, look, this is a situation that's affecting all of us. How can we come together and resolve it as Americans? So that's my 2 cents on that. God bless everybody out there for listening, and God bless the United States of America. Peace out.